Welcome back, everybody, to the Means Report. So happy to have Dr. Brooks Keel. He's the president of Georgia Regents University, the CEO of the health system over there. And he just started his job, but has taken the time to come here and enlighten us about all the things going on and that might happen in the not too distant future at GRU. Dr. Keel, we were talking about the importance of partnerships with our community.
Right. And
I know that that's key to you as a native and as a leader of the school. What about the look of Augusta? I'm in particular thinking of that corridor, say the Walton Way area between the Summerville campus and the medical campus. 20 years from now, is that just going to perhaps have a real collegiate look and feel to it, a hip, cosmopolitan aura about it, as people look at that area as just as a GRU corridor?
Well, yeah, I think we have two corridors, actually, to think about it. One is certainly the Walton Way corridor between Summerville and the Health Sciences campus, and I think you're already starting to see some significant revamping and improvement in the businesses that are in that area, and that clearly is going to be a main thoroughfare for students to go back and forth. But you also got the corridor between the Health Sciences campus and the downtown city, and no matter what you do in terms of building a corridor, you got to have two anchors, okay? And we have both anchors either way. I have been, someone asked me what was the biggest surprise of coming back home after being away for some 30 years, and other than seeing all the things and growth of both campuses, which have been just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's the city of Augusta and the restaurants and the vibe that's down there. I mean, the excitement that's in downtown. I was completely blown away. Now, I've come back many times since I've been away to visit family and that sort of thing, but I've seldom had an opportunity to actually go downtown. And Tammy and I have just fallen in love with how that city has grown. And you've got to have that sort of I don't know how else to say this, other than young people type things.
You do.
Down there to attract students, especially undergraduate students, which are a totally different population of folk than a graduate or a medical campus would be. And Augusta has that, and I think you're going to start seeing more and more. So that's going to also have a tendency for us to migrate and move what we're doing down there. When I mentioned that we have a responsibility for economic development in this community, drawing business and industry in here. If we are in fact doing our job and new business and industry comes to this area, they want to come to be associated with the university, both with the students because that's their future workforce, but also with the faculty because of the expertise that they have. And they want to be as close as possible to us. And I think we as a community need to start thinking about what that corridor between the health science campus and downtown looks like. How can we help make that a corridor for new business and industry to come in that can take advantage of its proximity to the health sciences campus? And I think the same thing you could say for that Walton Way corridor as well, for the businesses that might tend to migrate towards student services and those sorts of things.
Well, it is going to be fascinating to watch it continue to transform. What about the competition as far as the computer? I was walking across the Summerville campus this morning. The sun's coming up over Fanning Hall. Just a beautiful sight. And I thought to myself, the kid at home with the online courses is never, ever going to get to appreciate this. Is that a real competitor for you right now when trying to recruit students, is the fact that they can do a lot of stuff online?
No, I don't think it is. In fact, actually, I think it could wind up being a drawing card to us, because if you can get students interested in taking online courses at your university, then the natural tendency is for them to want to be a part of the campus environment as well. But I think what you have to really be considerate of is that every student has a different type of learning environment that turns them on and gets them excited, that appeals to them. And we used to think that it's only the non-traditional student that wants to take online courses. By that I mean the 35, 40-year-old student that's been away from college for a while. And that's clearly a huge market for us, no doubt. But we're finding that more, quote, traditional students, the under the 18, 19-year-old freshman, sophomore student wants to take courses online too. And they do it primarily for a couple of reasons. They're comfortable with that venue of learning. It's convenient, so they can take a class or do their homework at 2 o'clock in the morning in pajamas if they want to.
Right.
And it fits with their lifestyle. With so many students, in fact, almost all of our students now have jobs and are working. And if you think about when students have to go to work, it's typically when you also have classes. So I think we owe it to the students to provide all different types of venues that appeal to the type of learning that they need at that particular time. In the commuter, college has a different role. The on-campus residential college has a different role. It appeals to a different type of student. We're going to be moving Georgia Regents toward a more residential type of experience for students. And that's going to be very, very attractive, I think, for students who really have never really taken a look at GRU or Augusta State or whichever you want to call it, because it didn't have that on-campus residential feel. We're going to move that way, and I think it's going to be very exciting to see where that goes.
Where will that housing be built?
The housing already is under construction, a significant part of it down on the Health Sciences campus. You know, the Somerville campus is got some very unique aspects to it, not the least of which is the unbelievable historical community in which it sits.
Sure, beautiful.
It's incredibly beautiful, and that's why we have so many of those old houses that are around there. People have been coming to this part of the world for a long, long time because of that beauty. We don't want to do anything to disrupt or destroy that.
And I guess that was my question. In my mind, I was picturing Somerville, so no possibility of dorms or apartments or anything going up there or going into existing buildings on that campus?
Probably not. I mean,
Okay.
certainly the campus master plan, which we're looking at about a 5 to 7 year out. That's about as far as you could really legitimately go out with a master plan. Doesn't include any more additional building on the Somerville campus. It does include some repurposing of existing buildings. Our goal right now is to take the College of Science and Mathematics and physically move it down to the Health Sciences campus. That will accomplish a couple things. First, it's going to put the kids that have an interest, potential interest in going to medical school, dental school, nursing school, allied health school, right on the campus where all the other kids with white coats are.
Right.
And they can visually see that. It's going to help, I think, provide us with a real destination for bringing kids all over the country that want to go in those fields. But it will also free up all that space on the Somerville campus so we can let the other wonderful undergraduate programs we have expand into that space without having to think about disturbing the look of that Somerville campus. So our goal is to protect and preserve and expand on that beautiful look that you see on the Somerville campus, and then any new construction and expand and make room for increasing student enrollment to be on the Health Sciences campus.
We have heard a lot from you today about plans for the future. I know those plans come with a financial component for sure. Can you offer any hope for parents or young people watching today about the affordability of a higher education degree and whether that's going to get better or easier in the near future?
Well, that's a serious issue. We all know that, and we're all very cognizant of that. And I know that the Chancellor and the Board of Regents are very, very concerned about the cost of education from the standpoint of increasing tuition, and I think you're going to see a leveling off of that as we move ahead. One thing to keep in mind is that the cost of higher education really hasn't increased that much over the last 20 years or so, relatively speaking. It's the subsidy that comes from the state portion of that has changed dramatically. And that, of course, if you're a parent paying, you don't really care. It's more money coming out of your pocket.
That's
so,
it.
So that's it. So, but we have to be more cognizant, I think, of that and be more prepared. What we're seeing is a huge increase in the need for needs-based scholarships. And we're finding a number of students that are just a couple of $100s, not thousands, but just a couple of $100 shy of being able to pay the tuition fees they need to go to school. And we're now focusing a lot of our scholarship issues at not one-offs, but one student after another. What do you need to get enrolled this semester? $160, okay, we're going to find a way to get that to you so you can stay. As we start ramping up our whole capital campaign, fundraising campaign, that's going to be a major piece of what we do. Is to try to help the community know that the best way they can help themselves, their community, is to help these kids be successful, come to Georgia Regents and get an education.
And really one student at a time, if that's what it takes.
It has to be one student at a time. Enrollment, especially on an undergraduate campus, is one single student at a time. And you have to establish a culture that everybody believes that their job depends on that one single student, because believe me, it really does.
Dr. Keel, I can't thank you enough for being here. We're so happy you're back home, and I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about something I'm obviously very, very passionate about.
And I tried to do Jaguar Blue as best I could.
We have to do something about that. That's close, but it's not quite there.
It needs to get a little darker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Brooks Keel with us. The Means Report will be back in just a moment with a look at how one father handled his daughter's irresponsibility with her cell phone bill. He really laid the hammer down. Stay with us.